Hey Minot, 2020 is the year for more. Yes, it's the U.S. Census season, and with it, Minot could see more. More opportunities for business, more federal funding for roads, for our schools, and for our community. Take part in something more. Take the census, because for us, more means more. Visit minotnd.org to learn more.
Is the conference up and okay? All right, it is 5:30. We will call the Tuesday, May 5th, 2020 meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Call the roll, please.
Barnett,
Present.
Bauman,
Present.
Bollinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Hochhalter? Coop?
Yes.
Leiter?
Yes.
Offerdahl?
Yes.
Severson?
Yes.
Wagonest?
Unknown participant is now joining.
Wagonest?
Who just joined, please?
Well, we do have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very well.
Okay.
Rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. As you know, we're doing these meetings kind of remotely with technology. Those of you on the phone, if you would, please mute your phones when you're not speaking. That'll keep some of the background music down, or the background noise down. Next item is approval of the April 7th minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Motion by Coop to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Offerdahl. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Barnett?
Yes.
Bauman?
Yes.
Bollinger?
Yes.
Demakis?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
Hochhalter? Coop?
Yes.
Leiter?
Yes.
Offerdahl?
Yes.
Severson?
Yes.
Wagonest? Okay. Motion carries.
Very good. Motion carries. All right. Meeting minutes are approved. At the last meeting, there was some discussion regarding the size of the planning commission, and apparently that discussion resulted in some renewed interest in the board, and we have two new members on the commission tonight, Alicia Gates and Shane Leiter. Is that correct? Leiter?
I believe so.
Yes, later.
Very good. Thank you. Sorry we can't see each other face to face, but eventually we'll be able to do that. So on behalf of the rest of the commission, welcome, and we're looking forward to your opinions and input.
Thank you.
Which gets us into the business of tonight's meeting. First item on the agenda business-wise is rezoning and subdivision in Ramsted Heights 7th Edition. Looks like we have three of these. This is the first of three. It's a request by Four Seasons Construction, Inc. and Ackerman Surveying to subdivide property described as lots 8A through 14B of Block 2, Statesboro Edition, to create a 7-lot subdivision to be known as Ramsted Heights 7th, and to rezone the property from R4 planned residential district R1 to R1S single-family residential and small lot flexibility. The property is located north of 35th Avenue Northwest on the west side of Kodiak Street Northwest. For the new members on the Planning Commission, this is an area of town we've had a lot of experience with lately, so it for the rest of us will be pretty common. So we'll turn it over to staff for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're correct. This area, we've seen a lot of activity. This is, the next three items are 7, 8, and 9 of Ramsted Heights additions. So this is kind of copycat of what they've done with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, et cetera, where they're consolidating the duplex lots to make R1S lots and then rezoning from R4 to R1S, which is the small lot flexibility zoning. This property is on the west side of Kodiak Street, north of 35th Avenue. You can see on the aerial view here, there's 14 existing lots, and they are zoned currently R4. The request is to rezone them R1S to provide a more affordable single-family product. The future land use map shows this area as medium-density residential. We're not amending it. The small lot flexibility is a bit higher density than your standard single-family residential. And we may look at this area with the next comp plan update. This is the subdivision plat that takes those 14 lots and turns them into 7. So, findings of fact, complete application. The request is consistent with a comp plan, meets all bulk requirements of the zoning ordinance. And then from a technical standpoint, there's a notice here that says that we've met all the legal process requirements for the requirements of the Century Code and the local ordinances to hold a public hearing today. The recommendation is to approve the preliminary plat and the rezoning, subject to 2 conditions. Number 1, abandoned water and sewer utility services must be capped at the mains per public works policy. And number 2, a developer's agreement is required to identify the required infrastructure improvements. The developer had expressed some concerns about the conditions, and I told him that these are both engineering conditions, so if he needs to work out any concerns with the engineering department, and as this moves on through the process, there will be an opportunity to do that. So I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Is there any questions for staff from the commission? All right, hearing none, we will open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on behalf of the application on the phone? Is there anybody who wishes to speak for or against the application?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We are now accepting comments through our online portal.
Oh, okay.
And we did not receive any comments on this case or any of the cases on the agenda tonight from the general public.
Okay.
So I think we can move forward with findings of fact and a decision on this matter, since there are no comments on the record for this case or any of the cases on this evening's agenda.
Okay, very good. Good to know. Well, and seeing that there was no voices coming in from the phone, we will close the public hearing and turn it over to the commission.
Would move to approve based on staff recommendations and finding of facts.
It's a motion by Commissioner Coop to approve based on findings of facts and recommendations. Is there a second?
Second, Kelly Barnett.
Second by Commissioner Barnett. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Barnett?
Yes.
Bauman?
Yes.
Bullinger?
Yes.
Demakis?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
Coop?
Yes.
Leiter?
Yes.
Offerdahl?
Yes.
Severson?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Very good. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. This is a rezone and subdivision request by Four Seasons Construction and Ackerman Surveying and Associates regarding Ramstead Heights 8th Edition. This would be to subdivide property known as lots 10A through 18B of Block 7 Statesboro Edition to create a 9-lot subdivision to be known as Ramstead Heights 8th Edition, and also to rezone said property from R4 Planned Residential District to R1S, Single-Family Residential District with small lot flexibility. This property is located north of 32nd Avenue on the west side of 14th Street. So we'll turn it over to staff for the report on this parcel.
Yes, sir. This is the same story that we just talked about, cookie cutter, so to speak. These lots are located on the west side of 14th Street, northwest, north of 32nd Avenue. And again, the request is to consolidate the lots and rezone these 18 lots into 9. Here's the same zoning we saw, the same future land use map, and this is the subdivision plat for Ramstead Heights 8th Edition. The findings of fact are the same as in the first item. The recommendations and conditions are the same. The utility services need to be capped at the main, and there's a developer's agreement that will be required. And again, the developer wants to discuss that further, I think, with the engineering department as this moves forward to council. And there is one more condition, which is really just right out of the ordinance that talks about filing of the plat, the signatures and the process it has to go through to be technically approved. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff? All right, hearing none. So Brian, excuse me, before I go any further, we're still having an opportunity for statements over the phone, correct?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, the rules have changed. We're now only taking statements through our online portal.
Gotcha.
And we also offer the opportunity for people to submit written letters to our office, and we have not received any communications
Okay.
from the general public.
There'll be only comments from the commissioners.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
So, is there any motion on behalf of the commission?
Motion to approve based on finding facts, staff recommendations.
Got a motion by Commissioner Offerdahl to approve based on findings of facts and staff recommendations. There, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Baumann, correct?
Yeah.
Very good. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we will call the roll, please.
Barnett,
Yes.
Baumann,
Yes.
Bullinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Coop,
Yes.
Leiter,
Yes.
Offerdahl,
Yes.
Severson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, motion carries. Very good. The next item is the last of the Ramstead Heights agenda items. It's a request again by Four Seasons through Ackerman Surveying and Associates to subdivide property known as lots 1A through 13B, Block 8, Statesboro Edition, to create a 14-lot subdivision to be known as Ramstead Heights 9th Edition, and rezone the property from R4, Planned Residential District, to R1S, single-family residential with small lot flexibility. Property is located beginning approximately 100 feet north of 32nd Avenue, northwest on the east side of 14th Street, extending north and transitioning to the north side of 14th Street northwest to Kodiak Street northwest. We'll turn it over to staff for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the lots don't extend all the way down to 32nd Avenue, but you can see on the vicinity map, they're right across the street from the last one we talked about, 8th. And this project has proven very successful for the developer. 9 of these additions so far, where he's rezoning to R1S and consolidating the lots. There's the 26 R4 lots that are going to become 14. There's the zoning R4, going to zone to R1S, future land use map. And here's the subdivision with the new single-family lots with small lot flexibility. The findings are the same as the last 2 items, and the recommendations are the same. Again, capping the utility services at the main, and a developer's agreement will be prepared. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them. Oh, I just said the one last technical thing about signing the plat and whatnot.
Very good. Any questions for staff on Ramstead 9th? All right, and we had no comments via the portal, so we will turn it over to the commission.
Move to approve based on staff findings of facts and recommendations.
Motion by Commissioner Coop to approve based on findings of facts and recommendation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Offerdahl. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will call the roll.
Barnett,
Yes.
Baumann,
Yes.
Bullinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Coop,
Yes.
Leiter,
Yes.
Offerdahl,
Yes.
Severson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. It's approved. Next on the agenda is a request by Jacqueline Ortega to combine 3 existing lots described as lots 14 through 16 and the west 13 feet of Lot 17, Galmac subdivision of the Elbow Manor Park Addition. The property is located at 1814, 1900, and 1906 3rd Avenue Southeast. We'll turn it over to staff for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is almost like a housekeeping issue. It's just a consolidation of property. I think it's required by the bank or the lending institution, but there's a vicinity map. You can see where the property is located. There are the 3 lots there outlined all in red. 3 separate lots. They're going to become one with this subdivision. There's no change in zoning. All over are zoned R1, and there's a single-family house on one of them. The future land use map is low-density residential, which is the proper category for single-family housing. And here's the proposed lot. It's a little bit less than an acre, 39,000 some square feet, to be known as Galmac Second Edition. Findings of fact, a complete application has been submitted, consistent with the comp plan, meets all the bulk requirements. And again, we followed all the statutory requirements under the Century Code and our local ordinances to conduct a public hearing tonight for this item. The recommendation is for approval of the plat, with the one condition being the technical language out of the code about following through with a final plat, who needs to sign it, and that kind of thing, so it could be recorded at the recorder's office. So if you have any questions, this one's really straightforward. Glad to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions for staff from the commission? All right, hearing none. As the case with the others, we had no comments come in, so we'll turn over the commission for a motion.
Move to approve based on staff recommendations and finding of fact.
Motion by Commissioner Baumann to approve based on staff finding facts and recommendations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Offerdahl. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Barnett,
Yes.
Baumann,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Coop,
Yes.
Leiter,
Yes.
Offerdahl,
Yes.
Severson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. Next order of business is subdivision approval regarding the Bluffs 13 edition lots 1A and B. It's a request by Craig Tweeten to adjust the lot line between lots 5A and 5B, Block 4, Bluffs 2nd edition, by creating proposed Bluffs 13th edition lots 1A and B. Property is located at 3509 and 3513 Weigel Way. I'll turn over to staff for the report on this item.
Yes, sir. This is another very straightforward proposal. It's basically just adjusting the lot line between these two existing lots, and then it becomes a new subdivision. So here's the vicinity map. It's on a cul-de-sac called Weigel Way, kind of down by the country club. Here you see in the blue outline the existing lots, and then the red line is approximately how the lot line will be adjusted to the north and west along the rear line there. The properties are zoned R2. Duplex will be built on the properties. The lot split kind of evens them out a little bit better. I think you can see on the plat. Here's the future land use map, low density residential, which fits R2. And there's the plat. You can barely see that faint line, which is the old line, and the bold line's the new one. You can see where it really kind of evens out both of the lots. So that's a good thing. Findings of fact, complete application, consistent with comp plan, meets all the bulk requirements of the zoning ordinance. And again, we are following all the rules statutorily and locally to conduct a public hearing on this matter tonight. Recommendations, the staff recommends Planning Commission adopt findings of fact and approve this. Again, the technical language in the code It's set forth here for the record that to follow all the procedures for recording the plat. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions for staff on this item? All right, hearing none, with no comments or concerns via the hearing portal, we will turn it over to the commission. Is there a motion?
Move to approve based on staff finding of facts and recommendations.
Motion by Commissioner Coop to approve based on findings of fact and recommendations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Offerdahl. Any discussion from the commission? All right, hearing none, we'll call a roll, please.
Barnett,
Yes.
Bauman,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Coop,
Yes.
Leiter,
Yes.
Offerdahl,
Yes.
Severson.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, very good. And the last item of business on the agenda tonight is a request by Ron Aberley of SRT and William Papanow, owners, to combine a portion of lots 6 and 7 and all of lot 1, Jack's 4th edition, to create lot 1. Lot 2 will consist of the remainder of lot 6 of Jack's 3rd edition, to be known as SRT edition lots 1 and 2. Lot 1 will be annexed into the City of Minot corporate limits. Property is located at 3615 North Broadway, extending approximately 1,254 lineal feet west along the north side of 36th Avenue Northwest. We'll turn it over to staff for the report. Am I correct? Is this it? Only lot 1 will be annexed, or is lot 2?
That's correct. Lot 1 at this time, and in the future,
Okay.
lot 2 will come back. So this is the last one tonight. This is a annexation and a subdivision plat. There's a lot of lines going on here. Here's the vicinity map. It is on North Broadway and extends west along the north side of 36th Avenue. If you're familiar with the SRT property there along Broadway, they currently have kind of an L-shaped piece, and this area with a lot of trees that you can see squares that property off, and that's going to become lot 1. And then the area that's kind of shown in yellow is going to be the proposed lot 2 of this subdivision. Here's the zoning. The zone commercial already, which is an appropriate zoning for Broadway and also along 36. Commercial C2, which is general commercial. The land use map is kind of a hodgepodge here, but they aren't requesting any rezoning, so we're not going to make any amendments to the land use map. Obviously, it needs to be amended to commercial, but I think we'll address that at the next time we do a comp plan update. In terms of annexation, there's a lot of lines going on, so I thought this graphic might help. The red line is the city limit line, and so everything kind of below that line is not in the city, and then everything above it is in the city. So this little blue box that fills out the rest of the SRT edition will be the part annexed, and here it is on an exhibit. You can see it there, the hatched area that is up for annexation at this time. This is a subdivision plat, shows the lot for SRT expansion and also the other second lot, which is going to come back before you in the future. They're working out some feasibility on infrastructure and some other things. A couple of things I should have mentioned. There is a conditional use permit for SRT to have a 70-foot telecommunications tower, so that CUP would apply to the entire new lot. And there's kind of a lot that's left over in Jack's 3rd edition, lot 8. But we want to ensure that doesn't get landlocked because we can't subdivide or plat property and not have proper access. So you'll see one of the conditions addresses that. Findings of facts, complete application. It will be consistent with the comp plan. We know how to do that when we do our comp plan update. It meets the bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance, and the request is in character with the surrounding mixture of uses and use of land in the area. We are meeting the standards for holding a public hearing tonight for the Century Code and local ordinances. So staff recommendation and conditions, excuse me. Staff recommends approval of this annexation and preliminary plat, subject to 3 conditions. First, the final plat shall show all existing easements. And second, the final site plan shall ensure access easement to Jack's third edition lot 8, that little leftover piece we were just looking at. And then number 3, the technical verbiage from the code about all the actions that need to happen in order to record the plat with the recorder's office. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff?
Commissioner Bauman here with a question for Principal Planner Lang.
Yes, sir.
Just with all annexations to the city, are there any additional responsibilities or financial burdens that the city of Minot would incur for annexing this property?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so we wouldn't have to build out infrastructure, water, or plowing or anything like that more than we do?
No, the SRT, obviously, they're already there. They have the facilities there. This provides them some expansion room, but they're already hooked up. 36th Street is already in, and I assume we're moving snow on it and everything else. So I don't see really any financial burden that this annexation would cause for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any further questions for staff? All right, hearing none, since we had no comments or concerns via the portal, we will turn it over for a motion.
Motion to approve based on the finding of facts and staff recommendations.
Motion by Commissioner Alfredall. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
That was Boyd. Sorry.
Thank you.
Severson.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Call the roll. Or I'm sorry, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. We'll call the roll.
Barnett,
Yes.
Bauman,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
Demakis,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Coop,
Abstain?
Leiter,
Yes.
Offerdahl,
Yes.
Severson.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, that was the last item on the agenda, so we are adjourned. Thank you all for attending.